Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
Welcome in. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live on a Friday, a football Friday, from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer here. Charlie Usen, looking smooth with his Magnum PI mustache that he's going over there. His Tom Selleck look, rolling over there.
I know that reference.
You need. Oh,
yeah, I know who Magnum PI is.
No, you do not.
I do. I don't know that much, but I don't know.
Did your dad watch it or something?
No, not that.
That's
I know.
how
really.
I do it. My dad watched it.
I don't know. It's just like I like TV. I like movies, so I know a little bit about the history of stuff, and that's a pretty important TV show. So
the other day we were talking about I don't watch movies or whatever, and on the YouTube chat, the guy comes, he's like, "Man, you're just like me, man. I don't watch movies either." I typed back on the Dugout YouTube chat, the Fan Milwaukee, search it on YouTube, all our shows, and I put message back in there. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, technically, I do watch Hallmark Christmas movies.
You don't watch real
movies, yeah. Right? Like in the theaters and stuff. I don't do that.
There's so many good ones out too.
I'm sure there are, but when you have two kids, like I've been asking
for kids too.
I've been asking Kay. I was like, can maybe we could take him to like one of these cartoon movies.
Mm-hmm.
She still doesn't trust the 3-year-old. She's like, she'll be running all over movie theaters. She's like, we're not gonna see anything. I was like, all right, fine, we'll wait.
That was one of my favorite things, was just going to the movie theater as a kid. So I think that's part of the reason. Like I love just sitting there watching.
We would go every year. Thanksgiving night was our tradition. Thanksgiving night we would go, and then once in a while we'd go on Christmas night as well. Those were our traditions for movies, and then throughout the rest of the year from time to time.
Every once in a while. Yeah, it was like a once a month at least thing for my family.
Yeah, and then as I got older, the Thanksgiving tradition for me became going to Maddie's Bar and Grill Thanksgiving Day night and having a beverage and whatever and hanging out for a little while after all the family stuff was done or whatever the case may be.
Unwind a little bit.
Yeah, that became my own little personal tradition later, and then we moved on to where I'm at now, and now I go nowhere. Okay, so let's get into what's going on today's show. Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette, Packers beat writer. Follow him on Twitter, by Ryan Wood. That comes up here at 2:40, and his weekly hit. He joins us every Friday at 2:40. It's a beautiful thing. So he'll be on today. Then at 3:20, I had a chance to sit down and talk with this dude yesterday. I wanted to play it back today, so we eye up the enemy. Mark Schwab from Cleveland 19 News, sports anchor there. I call him Schwabby. I've known this dude for a long time. And do I know the funny thing is?
What's that?
Kind of a little secret in Cleveland. He's a Bengals fan. Working in Cleveland for like the last 30 years.
I relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, kind of, but everybody knows. You're out there. As a TV anchor, it's not as out there as a TV anchor.
What's kind of crazy is I don't think I've ever, like in my life, met anybody with the last name Schwab, and then Thunder had Frank Schwab on, and now you have Mark Schwab on, and they're both close friends of you guys. Like, that's weird.
Yes, no doubt. Mark Schwab's a good dude. All right, so that comes up at 3:20. Of course, Charlie Sound today, Green and Gold update. We did not get to it yesterday. I have to have my Jeff Halfley fix every week on this show. If you're new to the show, you don't understand, then you have never heard Jeff Halfley talk. He gives you more insight, more behind the curtain stuff than any other coach on that staff, especially over Matt LaFleur. I think Charlie would agree with that, correct?
I think so.
Yes, Halfley's way better.
His press conference, I think, was 16 minutes yesterday, and Matt LaFleur's was 5.
Pretty sure Halfley could do an hour every week.
Yeah, probably.
If you said we'll talk until you're done, it would go for at least an hour. So Jeff Halfley, want to play some of that for you coming up, talk about that Packers defense. And then it's fantasy football, baby, as we do each and every Friday. We did it last season. We're doing it again this year with Joe Bartel, RotoWire Fantasy Sports. Get your questions ready. You can tweet them now if you want at the Fan Milwaukee, or you can also call in. That's the way I prefer to do it, or text the Fan Nicolay Law Fan Talk at text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. Don't forget, obviously, the new lineup starts coming up next week on Monday. So everything gets going at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I used to do shows on this station that we started at 5 a.m. We'd go 5 to 9. These dudes are going 6 to 9. Still 6 a.m., man. I'm trying to be sleeping at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. That's right. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas. You know him from Inside Wisconsin podcast with John Anderson from ESPN. So Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht, the longtime radio guy in town. Those two guys are doing the morning show together from 6 to 9. Then it's 9 to noon with Kuhn. Very self-explanatory. That's the time the show was on. It's former Packer fullback and sideline reporter for the Packers radio broadcast, John Kuhn, along with longtime fan host Rami Makloff. Brandon Snide, a longtime producer here in town, mind you, at another station, but still a longtime producer. Great dude. Hosts Locked On Packers, hosts Locked On Brewers. So if you're a sports fan, you probably know who Brandon Snide is already. So he'll be on that show. That's going to be amazing. Noon to 2, the foundation of this station, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, presented by Verizon. They moved to their new time slot, noon to 2. And then again, we're on from 2 until 5. Then, starting on Monday as well, that we didn't have in the graphic, for those of you that are driving home from 5 to 6, and you get JR Sport Brief and the national stuff from 5 to 6, no longer starting on Monday. It's going to be the fan post-game show on 5 o'clock, Mondays through Fridays, with Tommy Wirtz hosting the fan post-game show each and every day. And that's kind of like if you missed the whole day, right? You're working, your meetings, whatever else, you know what's going on. Tommy's going to play clips from the different things that happen across the different shows. Not full-blown interviews or anything like that, but clips from throughout the day. Give his spin on things, what was happening on different shows. You can get your taste of it a little bit. And then if you want to go back and listen to the rest of it or whatever, you can always go back to the Odyssey app. So I think that's going to be a fun and entertaining show as well. That'll be on 5 to 6, Monday through Friday. So we will be local 6A to 6P, Monday through Friday here on The Fan, and it all starts coming up on Monday. It is a football Friday, and anytime it is a football Friday with a Green Bay game coming up on Sunday as they take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, we have to do confident, concerned, and curious heading into this week 3 matchup between the Packers and the Browns. If you are new to this, I will explain. All I ask of you, tell me what you're confident in going into the Packers game, right? What are you confident in? I'm confident, Sparky, that Jordan Love's going to throw 6 touchdown passes. Cool, all right. Right, this is all opinion-based. Ain't nobody going to be right or wrong. You might be, when we come Monday, you can call back and be like, I told you, you said I was nuts, Sparky. That'll happen, right? But confident, then what are you concerned about with the Packers? Like, man, Sparky, I don't know, man. Like, I'm a little bit concerned they're not going to be able to protect Jordan Love. That's a problem. Like, I feel Myles Garrett may get like 2 or 3 sacks. That's my concern. All right, fair. That could be your concern. Curious, what are you curious about? It might be, I'm kind of curious to see how Belton does at right tackle, see if he can hold his own in his second straight week starting at right tackle if Zach Tom doesn't play. So that could be it too, right? So those are 3 examples, not that they're mine, but 3 examples you could use. So come up with a confident, a concerned, and a curious. Let's hear about it. You can use the YouTube dugout chat to post your confident, concerned, and curious. You can use the phone lines, Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250, or Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. And of course, sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. You can leave it all right there as well. We'll play it back on these very airwaves as you watch on YouTube or you are streaming on your Odyssey app, AUDACY. It is 12 after, and we are just now getting to this topic.
You talk a lot, Sparky.
So, I was just hearing Thunder. Thunder's like, man, 4 hours every day, man. Like, I'm looking forward to getting back to 2. Yeah. There are days on this show where we're like, did that really just go? Are we really done? That's all it's been is 3 hours. I feel it on Mason's show. I'm like, that is not long enough. Like, I would lose my mind. I got so much more to say. And now I'm done for the day. I'd go crazy. But anyways, so, all right, we'll take a quick time out. We're going to come back. We're going to ask you that question. Confident, concerned, and curious. Line them up. Let's talk about it. Let's see who is right and wrong on this whole thing by the time we get back to Monday. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy, Steve, Sparky, Fifer. Charlie using other side of the glass. What is going on here?
You're just zoomed in.
Yeah,
To do it
it's just one thing after another. Charlie using over there, Steve, Sparky, Fifer here. Yeah, we're on YouTube, messing around with the camera as always. So make sure to check us out there on YouTube, The Fan Milwaukee. We got shorts, got videos, got live streaming of our local shows, all of that. And more. So if you're bored over the weekend or looking for something to do in the middle of the day on a Saturday, we're just doing it about the Badgers. But hopefully,
you're not excited for the Badgers?
Dude, that Badger Maryland spread is insane. Like, I don't understand how the Badgers could be favored by a touchdown or more against anybody. I've not watched Maryland once, so maybe Maryland truly is that bad. We'll find out. I hope they win. I mean, when you looked at the schedule, you said 4 or 5 wins. If we're being honest, that was one of them. Like, Maryland was one that you thought they could win. So hopefully they figure out how to win Maryland, because that's a game I think a lot of people thought they could win when the schedule came out.
Well, and their defense, still give them a little bit of credit, looks all right. Even against Alabama, when that offense couldn't do anything, it tires down a defense.
Yeah. Through
3 weeks, they've looked like a much better unit than I think anybody ever expected. So there's some promise there.
Yes, no question about that. Okay. So, confident, concerned, and curious. Packers-Browns, Green Bay football postgame show immediately following that one coming up on Sunday afternoon after Green Bay and Cleveland. Tommy Wirtz, myself, go inside the locker room. We hear from LaFleur, Love, Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette, who'll join us here in about 20 minutes. Also comes on after every game on our postgame show, so we'll talk with him, hear from players in the locker room, take your calls, tweets, all that fun stuff after every Packer game. All season long, Green Bay football postgame show, year 2 of me and Tommy Wirtz doing that show together. All right, what are you confident, concerned, and curious about? Nicolay Law Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. I will go to Charlie Usen first for the easy one, the layup. What are you confident in most for this Packers football team coming up on Sunday?
Well, I think the easy answer is I'm confident in a Packers win on Sunday. I think this is a game that hopefully they shouldn't have any trouble with. I know the Cleveland Browns, we talk about their defense being better than what people see in the box score. But at the same time, if the Packers are as good as some of these other teams that the Browns are just getting their butts whooped by, then they should be able to whoop the butts of the Browns as well. And I think that if I want to get more specific here, Jordan Love needs to whoop the Browns' butt. Oh my God, there's too many B's there back to back. Jordan Love needs to go out there and I think have his best game of the season, obviously, throughout the first 2 weeks. But I think with this wide receiver room, he needs to make some really strong connections with some of these guys. I think with a Matthew Golden is a game that he really needs to make some strong connections with a player like that. So I think I'm confident that Jordan Love is going to go out there and throw for 275 and 2 touchdowns at least.
That's where you went with confident?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I just said I'm not going to yell at anybody for their
then
opinion.
you immediately yell.
But I'm not yelling at you for what your projection is. I just thought there was an easier layup gimme sitting out there. Man, they're going to absolutely annihilate Joe Flacco. Like, there's no chance Joe Flacco's
have more fun with it. Joe Flacco's old and slow. Right. That makes sense.
So I'm going to say I'm confident. Now watch me jinx him. I'm confident the Packers get at least 4 sacks in this game. I was going to say 5, but I don't want to be too overconfident. 4 sacks at least of Joe Flacco in this game from this Packers defense. I'll say Micah Parsons gets at least 1.5. Kenny Clark gets 1. Van Ness gets 1. Who else? Colby Wood. We'll give him 1 too. That's like 4.5, something like that. I don't know. So that's where I'm confident. I'm confident this Packers defense is going to tear this Browns offensive line and Joe Flacco up. They're going to have all kinds of problems. The thing about this Browns offense, okay, they're going to try and run a little bit, and they're going to do it out of that 12 set. So you're going to have 12 personnel. You're going to have 2 tight ends out there to deal with. And Njoku is one, questionable hands. And then Fannin is the other, the rookie, who is fast. So it's those 2 that they're going to not only run behind, but they're going to throw to. Fannin and his separation so far in 2 weeks has been really, really good. So that is going to be the point of emphasis, I think, for this Packers defense. Tillman at wide receiver is another guy that can have a game here or there too, but it's going to be more about those tight ends for the Cleveland Browns coming into this game. And then who do you put on said guys, right? Do you play Fannin with a safety? Cooper might be fast enough to run with them. I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked at the 40s back to back, but maybe it's Cooper that's running with Fannin. You just take him out of pass rush situations, but that to me is going to be the key. How do they cover those two tight ends and take them away from Joe Flacco? And if you do that, they're going to have some problems. They just are. And especially if you're jamming them at the line of scrimmage and throwing off timing routes and stuff like that, that's going to screw them up, Charlie, because that's what they're relying on right now.
They really need to get the ball out fast with a guy like Joe Flacco versus a defense like the Green Bay Packers. And I don't know if that's going to be even remotely possible for a team like the Cleveland Browns, who just, again, don't have that talent in the wide receiver room like you're talking about. So they're relying on the young running back room that they have. Yep. They're relying on the young tight end room that they have. And I don't think you can win a game against the Green Bay Packers like that. I think there are some areas that you need to be better in, like the offensive line, like the wide receiver room, in order to take apart the weaknesses that the Packers defense does have, and they just don't have it. There's no shot they can compete with that on the offensive side of the ball.
Football Talk on the Fan is presented to you by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King this season. Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built and to protect the empire. Stream the new season of Tulsa King on Sunday, September 21st. That's this Sunday, exclusively on Paramount Plus. Time now to get to concerned. What are we concerned about with this Green Bay Packers team heading into this matchup here in week number 3 against the Cleveland Browns? I'll start this one because I'm going to take the easy layup, and then you can find the one that's more tough if there is one to find. To me, it's going to be whether or not they're able to have an effective run game. I think that is truly what this is all about. I'm not as concerned about the passing game. I am more concerned, I guess, about the running game. We've talked about it on this show. I talked about it on the well, I didn't, but they talked about it on the Mason Crosby show, Mason and Tommy and Thunder. That is the one strength of this Cleveland defense that has been a problem for people. So, if they can move people off the line of scrimmage and create some holes, and maybe Matt LaFleur schemes up something on the ground game to free some guys up, now you feel a lot better. Josh Jacobs comes into this one dinged up to begin with, right? So he's not 100% already in week 3. So that kind of works against you. You have Brooks, you have Wilson, understand. You'd feel a lot better if you had your stud running back that can't stay on the field, Marshawn Lloyd, at this point, but it's going to be a while for him. So you have the other two guys. I want to see what they come out and look like, right? Are they going to come out in 2 guys on the field at the same time? Going to come out there with Brooks and Jacobs on the field? You're going to come out there with Wilson and Brooks on the field? I'm a huge proponent, if you've listened to me over the course of time, of that pro set where it's running backs side by side in the backfield. You have the quarterback under center. Now, if you go back to the day of the Niners and stuff like that, it's Rathman and Craig in the backfield, right? And they can go in the eye or they can go pro set side by side. They don't have a fullback, right? Unless you bring, somebody like Tucker Kraft back there, but who knows if he's going to play. So unless he comes back there, you don't really have a blocking back per se. So you just go with your 2 running backs. Why I like it is it gives you so many options of what these running backs can do, right? It's not just focusing on one guy, it's focusing on 2 guys. You can do a lot of misdirection, a lot of different things to keep the defense off balance. That would be how I would attack it. We'll see what the Green Bay Packers think going into this game. So for me, my concern is not possibly getting that running game going. And then that leads now to 3rd and long situations, which is a problem. Speaking of that, sidetrack, did you realize the average 3rd down distance for the Bears right now is 3rd down in like 10.7?
I did realize that because I watched the game, Sparky, unfortunately.
I saw that yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness.
By far, they're the most pressured team on 3rd down right now and 2nd down.
Well, yeah, it's 3rd and 10.
Downs, yeah.
Pin your ears back and go get them.
It's just awful. Well, it's not even like that they're bringing that much pressure teams. It's just the Bears' offensive line is so bad. Like, it's just so atrocious.
It's so bad for so long.
And it's like, it feels even worse because they actually tried to improve it feels like, and then now it looks like that. But if we're looking at what I'm concerned with the Packers and the Cleveland Browns right now, I think my biggest thing is that going off of what I said for confident about how I think Jordan Love's going to have a good game, and I think that he's going to build these relationships with the wide receivers, what I'm concerned is that he tries that and wide receivers are still dropping the ball. and that some of these younger guys don't step up when they need to. A guy like Matthew Golden in this situation where it's a game where it should be a breakout moment for him, especially with Josh Jacobs playing a little injured, or Tucker Kraft potentially playing in this game a little bit injured, offensive line not fully there. This is a game for him to step up in a moment like this. And if he is given that opportunity by Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, if he is given the type of target numbers of a wide receiver one that people are expecting from a young player like Matthew Golden that got drafted with the first round pick from the Green Bay Packers, and he doesn't run away with that opportunity, I think that's going to be really concerning for a lot of people, because this is, again, the moment you want to see from this player finally start to get that breakout or show that he can have that type of breakout later on in the season. And if he doesn't take advantage of that, if given that opportunity, I will be mightily concerned with that.
He is our guy, one and only Charlie Usen over there. See Sparky Fifer here. Still to come, Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette, Packers beat writer, comes up here in about 10 minutes or so. Follow him on Twitter at @Ryan Wood. We'll get the latest on the injury situation, Tucker Kraft, and so forth. Right now, doing Confident, Concerned, and Curious here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. All right, time now to get to Curious. And I have a lot that I'm curious about just in general in life. Just in general, just kind of curious about things. I am curious to see how much help they're going to have to give Packers offensive linemen dealing with Myles Garrett. Like, how much additional attention and how much will game planning change throughout the course of a game because they're having problems dealing with Myles Garrett up front. Some dudes, like for instance, Reggie White, right? So you start a game, you put that left tackle out there on an island and go, see what you can do. And then as Reggie White tosses Tony Mandrich around like he's 5 pounds from one hip to the other hip and all over the place, you realize we better put 3 guys on Reggie White because this is not going to work. Our quarterback's going to get killed. Our guy can't handle him. And I wonder, when you get into this game planning with Myles Garrett, do you automatically start the game planning with there will be no one-on-ones against Myles Garrett? There is going to be constantly 2 people on this guy, one way or the other. Everything we run, either somebody's going to chip him or there's going to be double teams or delayed double teams, but we are not going to allow this dude to beat us by himself. Or will Matt LaFleur give somebody the opportunity to go, all right, y'all, we're going to go one-on-one, and then whichever one of y'all can't figure this out, we'll give you help. But for the first quarter, we just want to see what this looks like. We're going to go one-on-one and see what happens. Maybe. I don't recommend it. Not a big fan of the idea of testing the waters to see where it's at. But I guess if you feel like you can come back and score later in the game, if you don't have a couple of good first drives as you're testing your offensive line theory, I guess you could play that way. I prefer 2 people hitting that dude on every play. That's how I prefer to do it, Charlie.
I think that is a really good way to go about this. And I think if you're looking to have 2 people on a hat like Myles Garrett throughout this game, again, you're going to want to have guys like Josh Jacobs and Tucker Kraft on that field because those are going to be 2 of the best options for that. I think what helps with this Packers team and what Matt LaFleur has done so well is, again, make sure that everybody has the same mentality on the field. So even if a Tucker Kraft can't play, even if a Josh Jacobs isn't playing for the entirety of this game, I think you have faith that Emmanuel Wilson can go out there and still give as much effort as a Josh Jacobs does in that run block, and that a Luke Musgrave can step into that tight end 1 spot and give as much effort as a Tucker Kraft would in that run block or in the pass block if you need him to stay in on a certain max protect there. And I think that with this team and their game plan, I don't foresee too many opportunities for Myles Garrett to interrupt any kind of offensive game plan that Matt LaFleur has, because he should be planning for a guy like Myles Garrett. And Matt LaFleur usually has pretty good game plans when he's not playing teams that are better than him. And this Cleveland Browns team is not better than him.
No, this Cleveland Browns team is definitely not better at this point. We haven't really had it as a topic because I think it's obvious. The idea of it being a trap game. I'm not going to make fun of Charlie, but Charlie's team were trap games whenever they were on the schedule for somebody else, right? Because they weren't very good. They struggled a little bit. So if you are a good team and you had a good team on the other side of Charlie's college team, then you're like, oh, we got this, right? We'll just blow through this and we'll get to the next week. It's fine. I wonder if it's that way with the Browns right now. Defensively, it shouldn't be, because the Browns defense is solid and they're good, and they could provide problems for this Packers offense to get going. You're going to see some punts, I would think, from the Packers this week. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we haven't seen a punt from the Colts so far in 2 weeks, so anything's possible. So we'll see. But I hope that that's not the case. I think it's early enough in the season where it's probably not a trap game. You got to take everybody seriously. It's only 2 weeks in, but that would be the other fear in all of this.
I think that it is a little bit of a worry, but at the same time, the way this Packers team has been playing, the mindset that they have says that they wouldn't take this game like that. And I know that a lot of guys, Rasheed Walker doubles down on saying that this team's going to go 18-0. And I think that's a little overconfident. But again, you heard other guys like Matthew Golden kind of retract that yesterday when we listened to him talk and kind of settle himself down and humble himself a little bit. And I think that's what a lot of people on this Packers team is doing. And they shouldn't overlook a Browns. It's still an NFL team. If Joe Flacco goes down, you have to go against a rookie quarterback. That could be a trap because you don't know what you're going to see out of a Dylan Gabriel or a Shedeur Sanders if one of those two guys has to go into this game. And then that kind of creates problems for this team. You shouldn't take any game lightly as an NFL organization right now with this.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Definitely shouldn't take anything lightly kind of going forward at this point. And the good teams don't. The good teams always practice at a high intensity, take every game like it's their last game, and bring it. That's the other thing. If this ends up looking like a trap game, I'll tell you how it's going to look like a trap game. If you don't see them chasing the ball on defense, and they're not going like they were the first 2 weeks against two really good football teams, if you see that energy drop and that tenacity and that viciousness, because they're not at home either, first road game. If all of that stops and all of a sudden guys are running and you don't have a lot of chase going on and they don't appear as fast anymore, Charlie, that tells you they think it's Cleveland.
I think so.
They think it's Cleveland. Yeah.
But again, I don't feel like that's going to be the case. For my curious this week, it has to kind of do with that. I'm curious to see if Adrian Cooper can put himself into the top 3 in the league in tackles. Right now, he's sitting at 5. We saw Tyrell Dodson and Minkah Fitzpatrick play yesterday. They both are sitting at 22, and Tyrell Dodson's the leader in league at 33. Adrian Cooper's at 22 as well with Minkah Fitzpatrick. He'd have to pass Roquan Smith, Jordan Brooks, and Bobby Okereke. I think he can do that in 1 week against a Cleveland Browns team. For him to get 11 tackles to match Tyrell Dodson in the league, I think is very possible. And to add on maybe 2 to 3 more tackles against a very bad team where they're going to be running the ball a lot up the middle. It's going to be him having to stuff that gap or a lot of short passes in the intermediate of the field where he's going to have to make a play. I don't think 15 tackles is outrageous for a guy like Adrian Cooper. And if he can go out and do that, I think I'm really even more confident in this defense moving forward here. And I'm not going to have problems where I'm worried that they're going to have lapses against teams that are worse than them.
Charlie using over there. See Sparky Fifer here. Potawatomi Sportsbook. Monday Night Football, baby. I'm going to be there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Come down, hang with your guy. I'll be there from 6 o'clock till the time the first half is over. We're doing trivia and commercial breaks throughout. Got autograph stuff to give away. Got jersey to give away. Got all kinds of fan swag to give away as well. Come hang out with me at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up for Monday Night Football, it's Detroit and Baltimore. Ain't like it's some no-name game. I mean, this is a heavyweight battle, right? With what we saw with Detroit against Chicago, is that real? Or what Green Bay did to them, is that real? We're about to find out. Because if Baltimore slaps Detroit around, the entire league is going to go, Chicago's the worst team in football. Like, they are the worst team in football if Detroit gets slapped around by Baltimore. Because that means that 52 was not real. That does not count. And that tells you how bad Chicago is. If Detroit beats Baltimore or hangs tough, then it's going to be like, all right, Detroit's for real. They're real. Packers may just be that good, but
what about
Detroit's
for the Bears?
What about for the Bears?
You don't think that they're maybe a little bit better if Detroit hangs in there with Baltimore is still one of the best teams in the league?
I mean, no, it's just not as bad of a look for the Bears as if they get slapped around by Baltimore. Then it really makes the Bears look bad.
I want to be nice.
No, I just not to that team. No, absolutely not. No. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette comes up next. Our Packers beat writer straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fifer here. Our guy Charlie using over there on the side of the glass. Mornings can all start to feel the same, so if you're looking for a fresh wake-up call, look no further than Wendy's Breakfast. Try a breakfast Baconator with fresh cracked eggs and crispy bacon, a grilled sausage breakfast burrito, or maybe even a honey buddy. Don't even think about sleeping on Wendy's seasoned potatoes and English muffin sandwiches. Doesn't matter what you go for, it's gonna change your life. Okay, well, at least freshen up your morning a little bit, ready for a fresh wake-up call. It's got to be Wendy's. They just brought in some Wendy's the other morning, and I know that Charlie isn't a morning person, so I felt bad because they brought some Wendy's in for everybody, and they're going around taking orders. Hey, what do you want? What do you want there, buddy? And you couldn't order anything.
It's all right. I'm more of like a midnight type of guy. So like if I have to head over to Wendy's when they're open midnight or later and grab a Baconator, that's more my speed. So grab a Frosty or two, then I'll be okay.
That's my jam right there. 2-3 double stacks, a fry, Frosty Fusion. I like the Oreo brownie batter one with the chocolate.
Strawberry Pop-Tart was pretty good with the vanilla base.
You went with the vanilla base, right? Yeah, I'm telling you, those Frosty Fusions are amazing. All right, let's get to our guy.
What's the latest on the Pack? Let's go inside the locker room with Packers beat writer Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Gazette on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan.
All right, from the Green Bay Press Gazette, he is the aforementioned Ryan Wood. Follow him on Twitter at @ByRyanWood. Good afternoon, Mr. Ryan Wood. How are you?
Sparky, I'll take a Coke float, Frosty. You get a little Coke in there, the vanilla ice cream, blend it all together. I'll take that from Wendy's.
Wait a second. So you're taking a vanilla Frosty and putting Coke in it?
That's right. Mix it together. Coke float. I don't do the root beer float. If I'm doing beer, I'm doing beer. I'm not rooting for it. I drink the beer. I'll take the Coke float.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, you don't like root beer? That's not your thing?
Oh, no. Root beer's terrible.
Terrible?
Oh,
that's a hot take.
We got to go. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Root beer is Satan's poison. That's awful.
What?
That's awful stuff.
Oh, man, I'll tell you right now. I don't know what your deal is, but my deal is I started this years ago. Jack Daniels and root beer, man. Mix that bad boy together. It takes the cut off of the Jack, and it tastes like a root beer. Jaeger and root beer. I've not tried that. That is the perfect thing to mix with, man. I'm telling you.
That just sounds like a sad way to water down the Jack Daniels to me. No. Don't mix that. No, but vanilla ice cream and Coca-Cola. Put it together. Yeah. Get it at Wendy's. I'm all about that.
All right, I'll try it next time. I mean, they got that huge machine inside Wendy's. You could pick like 5 million different Coke flavors that you can put with it as well. All right, Ryan, let's talk about the Packers. So what's the latest on tight end Tucker Kraft?
Well, fortunately, Sparky, as you know, anytime there's an injury, the coaching staff is almost bending over backwards to be as transparent as possible about said injury situation. Actually, no, that's the opposite. The good news for Tucker Kraft is that it was not a major knee injury. There's no long-term effect here. Why that's good news is I think that if you've watched the first 2 games, it's got to be this is a violent game. It's a dangerous game. It's got to be in the back of your mind. Wow, they look really good. What could sink this? A significant injury to a major player, as Tucker Kraft will qualify now, and so he dodged that. Whether he plays this week or not, story for you. It's not about Tucker Kraft. In the locker room yesterday, I peel off from Josh Jacobs, who he's talking in the gaggle, and I walk up to Zach Tom, who on Wednesday was asked how he felt for Sunday. He kind of paused. He's like, ask me tomorrow. So it's tomorrow now, and I'm walking up to Zach Tom, and he sees me. He knows I'm going to ask him, hey, you want to play Sunday? He smiles, gives me the Heisman stiff arm, and just starts chugging the other direction, like just dead opposite direction. So he looks spry doing it, but that's what you're dealing with injuries. Is Tucker Kraft playing this week or not? Maybe. We'll find out 90 minutes before kickoff.
Man, that's crazy. I've had that done to me before. I've had Mo Williams, who really never wanted to talk to me with the Bucs, the old Bucs point guard. When they used to practice at the Cousins Center, they'd be doing something. I'd ask to talk to him, whatever else. And Mo would go walking by while we were all talking to the coach and wave at me and then walk out the door and leave for the day.
Yeah. I went up to Zach Tom after. We get along well. Zach Tom is a very affable, friendly personality. He's a kind soul. And I go up to him. I said, you know, just so you're aware, anytime you ever say, ask me again tomorrow, I will come up to you tomorrow and ask you again tomorrow. He's like, yeah, I know that. I shouldn't have said that. But, you know, we'll see. Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft. With Zach Tom, the reason why I think that's significant has nothing to do with winning the game. Packers going to win the game with or without Zach Tom. It's the Browns. But it's week 3, and that's Myles Garrett. And whether you win the game or not, you don't want Jordan Love taking extra hits. Like, it's
right.
a long season. The Packers know they went through this last year. Lingering injuries for a quarterback is never a good thing. They don't want to repeat that. Keep him upright. It's going to be pass-fail. If Zach Tom can't play, he can't play with that oblique. But if he can, he needs to be out there because that's your best protection against Myles Garrett, which means it's your best way to keep Jordan Love from taking extra hits, regardless of the scoreboard. That needs to happen.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree. And the only reason I don't know if I agree, we were talking about this before you came on, Ryan Wood, which is, you know, when you go out there against Myles Garrett, you know, we can do the whole, let's see how good we are. Let's go mano a mano and see if anybody can stay with this dude. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll double, we'll start chipping and so forth. Or you go into it the preferred way that I'd like to go into it, and Charlie, which is 2 and 3 dudes hit this guy in every single play. But if that's the concept regardless, then does it matter as much if it's Belton out there by himself or if it's Tom, if you're helping either way?
Yeah, because one's a rookie that could make a mistake early in his career. The other's Zach Tom. Whether you're getting chipped or not, you still gotta know the assignment. And I'm not specifically saying that about Anthony Belton, although we've seen, you know, he's had some holding penalties, he's had some issues. I'm not saying that about Anthony. I'm saying about a rookie in week 3 compared to Zach Tom, second team All-Pro type guy. Yeah, it makes a big difference whether you're chipping with a tight end or running back or not.
Yeah, I understand there's a gigantic talent differential and where they're all at this point. I understand that as well. I get it, but I'm just more of the fact of it's an oblique, and history of covering sports tells me these things will linger all year long and become really bad if you rush somebody back before they're completely all the way healthy. And for me, I look at this and go, do we really need him to beat Cleveland? I don't think so. Do you need him to beat Dallas? Maybe, maybe not.
No.
And then it's Browning and the Bengals after the bye week. Like, to me, I'm just going to keep him until he's 1,000% ready to go. I'm not rushing this dude back.
I want to make this very clear. If Zach Tom can't play Sunday, if he's not ready, he should not play. Okay. Is that clear enough? Like, he should not play if he's not ready. But if it's a gray area and they feel like the chance of re-aggravation is very, 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 very low, then yeah, go protect your quarterback. That's the franchise. That's Myles Garrett. I would be very concerned about that.
You get ready for this game, and we do confident, concerned, curious, like we've always done. And the concern I have is, I think with most Packer fans, if there is a concern in this game, and that is going back to the offensive line, you know, can this Packers team get enough of the ground game going to help open up this Packers passing game so you're not facing 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 10 all afternoon if they're running into a wall? That is an area of strength for Cleveland. Any concern from you on that?
A little. Not a lot, but I would say mild. The reason being, this is shocking to me. The Browns are the only defense in the NFL that's given up fewer rushing yards than the Packers through 2 games. They're at 91 rushing yards in 2 games allowed. The Packers are at 97, the only 2 that have given up fewer than 100. They've got Myles Garrett, but they just drafted Mason Graham in the 5th overall pick. I mean, they've got a solid defensive front, and that's saying something because when you look at this Browns roster, there's very few areas where you use the word solid. So, yeah, I mean, it's a thing. With that said, Sparky, there's no one happier in the locker room after these past 2 weeks with how the offense has gone than Josh Jacobs. Both games, he was asked what he thought about, you know, the tough yards and the fact that they were able to make some big plays in the air in the passing game. And both times his face lit up. It was like, hey, we can throw the ball. And it was like he didn't say it, but that type of reaction where it's like, thank God, like a real relief, like it's tangible evidence that this Packers team can throw the ball deep, something that did not happen all the time, especially late last season. They've shown it now because Josh Jacobs knows that's going to take guys out of the box eventually. It might not be this week, it might not be in Dallas, but at some point they keep doing this. That is going to be the byproduct, the result of that. And so he's awfully happy with how these first 2 weeks have looked for Jordan Love.
Talking with Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette Packers beat writer, joins us each and every Friday at 2:40 here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Follow him on Twitter at @RyanWood. He'll join us as well after every Packer game. Next one coming up on Sunday. We'll have the Green Bay football postgame show following that one with myself and Tommy Wirtz. Love having Ryan on. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. I believe, and I think you'll agree, that this Browns offense is mostly 12 personnel, mostly 2 tight ends. Fannin has shown the ability to run by people at this point and get separation. Njoku has been around a while, questionable hands. But I think that's what it comes down to. Can you cover the tight end well enough? And if you do that, I think you're in a pretty good position. They've got Tillman at wide receiver. I don't think that's a gigantic threat. I think that's really what it comes down to. Who's covering the tight ends, and can they keep them in front of them?
I think it comes down to how in the world are they keeping Joe Flacco upright? Who cares who covers the tight end? How are they going to actually have more than a second to throw the football? Because they need that. Because this is very different than Jared Goff, and especially Jaden Daniels. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. He's never been a bastion of mobility before, and he's certainly not now. Against this pass rush, I just don't know how they keep him upright. Micah Parsons was asked today. He was asked about Dallas without being asked about Dallas, because how can you not? That's coming up next week, and this is the Cleveland Browns. So he's asked, you're a professional. You know the schedule. You know what's coming next week. How do you focus on the Browns? And he unleashed a quote where he's like, I haven't sacked Joe Flacco. I need to sack Joe Flacco. It was like a starving man. That like I need to. I was standing in front of him, and I was actually scared for Joe Flacco.
Oh
like,
my God, it's even
that
worse
type
for
of
Joe.
intensity.
Oh, Joe Flacco, it's over. Oh my God.
So how do they keep him upright, Sparky? Like that's to me, that's the ball game.
I agree. We got Mark Schwab coming up, sports anchor at Cleveland 19 in Cleveland, who I've known for a long time at 320. I talked to him yesterday. We're going to play it back. And I said to him, man, prayers and thoughts go out to Joe Flacco and his family, because I don't know how they're going to keep him upright. I think they get 3 to 5 sacks in this game between him, Clark, Van Ness, Wyatt, Wood. And I think they all get back there to him.
This is my favorite movie. You ever seen Field of Dreams? Big fan of Field of Dreams?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So when this scene has been going in my head over and over again the past couple weeks as I watched this Packers pass rush. So when Moonlight Graham finally gets his shot, right, and he winks at the pitcher and he gets a fastball at his head and he mumbles to the ump, and the ump, what does he say? He says, "I'll give you some advice. How about you don't get yourself killed?"
Right.
That there are certain quarterbacks seeing this Packers pass rush on this schedule where I just think, don't get yourself killed. And Joe Flacco's one of them. 40-year-old Joe Flacco, stay safe. Like that. That's the game plan. How are you going to keep him upright? He can't move. He's a sitting duck back there. That's dangerous.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Stay safe. Good luck to you. That's not good if you're Joe Flacco. And the reason they're not going to Dylan Gabriel yet is because they don't want Dylan Gabriel to get killed by the Packers defense. So they're going to let Flacco to be out there and be the sitting duck until they find an easier part of their schedule, would be my guess. All right, prediction time. How close is this on Sunday?
I want to say 31-10. I don't expect it to be close. I don't have to tell you that I'm picking the Packers, right? The score is enough. 31-10. Yeah. And it shouldn't be close. I think what is somewhat interesting is whether or not they go in there and do that, because, okay, it's Packers-Browns. The Browns are not a good football team, but this is the NFL. There's pros on both sides. Joe Flacco, another lifetime ago did win a Super Bowl, and he's a confident but older quarterback. Can they take care of business in such a way that they did the first 2 games where you just leave no doubt? I think that'll be interesting, especially on the road against a team that is not the Lions, not the Commanders. There's no extra motivation here like you had those weeks Can you just be professional, take care of business? I think that'll be interesting to see.
There he is, our guy, Ryan Wood. Follow him on Twitter at @ByRyanWood. Of course, Green Bay Press Gazette, Packers beat writer. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you Sunday after the game on the Green Bay Football Postgame Show.
Take care.
You betcha. There he is, Ryan Wood, on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I mean, we're saying that here, right? Here in Wisconsin, that prayers for Joe Flacco's family, prayers for Joe Flacco. Like, I don't see how they're going to keep him up, right? Like, he's in a lot of trouble, folks. You better pray for him. So that's what we're saying here. What do you think they're saying in Cleveland? Like, do you think they're concerned for Joe Flacco's safety in Cleveland if you're a Browns fan?
No. I think they're
cold-hearted. You are.
Do you think they are?
Hell yes. Listen,
they couldn't care less about Joe Flacco being out there, man.
There's two trains of thought on this, right? The first one is Flacco gives us a chance to maybe be around 500 if everything goes right? Maybe we win 7-8 games. Nobody's thinking they're going to win 9 or 10, but maybe we win 7 games with Joe Flacco, whatever. If Joe Flacco isn't the quarterback and I got to go to Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, I don't know, man. Like, you may not win 4 or 5 games at that point because now you've got rookie mistakes to go along with not a lot of great talent around you on top of everything else. Now you're really putting yourself in the middle one. And the head coach right now might be coaching for his job in Stefanski. So that's the other reason. Flacco goes out, he's done too. That whole thing is a mess.
When the Chicago Bears drafted Mitch Trubisky, most Bears fans were not that excited about it. They did not think that was worth trading up the one pick as much as they traded to get that. And they were right. At the same time, when the Bears decided to make him sit behind a guy like Mike Glennon for the first half of his career, that first half of the rookie season, I think almost every Bears fan agreed that they would have rather have seen Mike Glennon get knocked out of a game and have Mitch Trubisky come in than watch Mike Glennon.
I believe that.
And I think Cleveland Browns fans, even though they may not be that excited about a Dylan Gabriel, even though they may not be that excited about a Shedeur Sanders, would rather watch one of those guys fluster out there than watch Joe Flacco be the most boring player on the face of the earth and get killed while doing it.
Fair point. I don't have nothing. I think that's a fair point. I absolutely could see that. I could see myself lobbying to play the young guy. If we're going to stink, at least play one of these young guys and see what happens.
Because you never know. Maybe you get a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, I don't think we'll go that far, but
not exactly, but
not exactly. I don't think it's going to be close.
You get a little revelation.
Yeah. All right. Coming up in the next hour, 3:00 hour here on a Football Friday on the Fan. Mark Schwab from Cleveland 19 News, sports anchor there, 3:20. Charlie Sounds of the day, top 3 clips from around the world of sports. But coming up next, there's been some conversation, a lot of conversation going on about a play that happened in last night's game involving Tua. And people pointed out on Twitter last night that Tua has a bigger cap number than Josh Allen does for the next 3 years. Oh, boy. But besides all that, Charlie, being the former football player that he is, was kind of feeling bad for Tua a little bit and kind of feeling like there's some unnecessary heat on Tua a little bit. Wait till you hear how he spins this. We're going to get into that coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.